I just can't see it, to be honest. I just can't see kind of, well, I'll let you see what I'm seeing. There's just not really anything. Yeah, no light, no drama, and even because we're in this kind of bowl, even the wind is light, so the waves aren't even doing anything. You win some, you lose some, perhaps. But actually, as a landscape photographer, you lose more than you win. Which is why I've kind of stopped halfway here, because it's a fair old hike down, and I'm thinking to myself, well, do I really want to put everything into the hike down to basically not even get the camera out of the bag? I mean, basically the sun, as it sets, won't even illuminate down here, but what I was hoping was around nowish there would have been some sun on, just record a little bit again, on the castle here. There's some nice light out on the horizon over Rathlin, but that's really about it. And to top it off, I have no data left on my phone, so I'm completely blind. I can't check on kind of weather fronts moving in. I can't check on Aurora forecasts. I probably can't even message someone to say I'm being attacked by an axe-wielding crazy man. Just one of those days, I think. Just one of those evenings. Anyway, beautiful location, of course. And as I say, better to be out than sitting in the house. Even if nothing comes of this, well, I've driven here like a mad, crazy man for nothing. Right, let's go and see if I can at least set up with a ish composition, just in case there's a moment of light, but I don't think there's going to be. So I've actually come down to base. Again, nothing really is going to happen at all, but I just thought I'd come down anyway. I love standing here at the foot of the castle, but yeah, there's just too much cloud cover for any sort of light to be sort of on the rocks, in the sky or anything. I will set up a composition, and I'll just see how we go from there, but yeah, pretty sure nothing to be had. But let me just show you what I'm looking at. Not too shabby, as they say. Sun is setting out this way, obviously. Yeah, not too bad at all. Right, let's see whether I can find a composition that may work. If anything dramatic changes in the next 30 minutes. And then it's a long walk back up again in the dark. Right, so I've come right the way along now. Kind of almost to the end of the black rocky beach. Let me just show you where I am. And so kind of was looking for more than just the rocks and the water. What's happening here is, if you watch, not when this wave's coming in, but because of the structure, it's kind of having to kind of direct itself around the wave. And so what I'm doing is I'm firing the shutter just as that water's starting to come out. Now this may not work because a wave's coming in. Let's just hit play on that and see. So you can almost see there's just a little, because of this channel here, just here, this then creates a natural channel for the water. And so I'm shooting with a Format High-Tech 4-stop NZ filter. Sorry, I'm actually just laughing because a fellow photographer, Chris Ibison, has just arrived. And I'm not sure whether you can actually make him out, but he looks like he's about to conquer Everest up there. Fantastic. This is the other great thing about photography for me. You know, some photographers will protect locations and not want to actually be near another photographer. I love the social aspect of photography. So great to see him down here. He's down trying to hunt the Aurora as well. Anyway, back to the shot. So yeah, looking for that kind of the flow of the water going through that natural channel. So shooting with a 4-stop, I don't want super long. I'm shooting f13 and I'm getting about a 4.5 second exposure. I may drop that down to f11, or I may increase my ISO to ISO 300 or so, because I actually think, in fact, we're up at 6.3 seconds now, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. 6.3 seconds for me for this shot is just a little bit too much. So I'm actually going to, rather than drop my aperture too much, I'm actually just going to increase my ISO. Cardinal sin, I hear you say. But no, just going to increase my ISO here. I'm now up at ISO 320. And that's giving me then a 3-second exposure. And that's the type of exposure I want. So remember, when you're out here, don't just kind of set it up and just accept the shutter speed that your settings are giving you. Think to yourself, actually, what works best here is maybe a 3-4 second exposure. Now, do I want to sacrifice depth of field, or do I want to sacrifice ISO? And for the Fuji X-T2, and for the Fuji X-T2, and for the Fuji X-T2, for the Fuji X-T2, not bought a Fuji X-T2 just in case my wife watches this. It was a Freudian slip, honest. I'm more than happy shooting at ISO 320. So I fired myself up to ISO 320. I'm now getting a 3-second exposure. I'm waiting for the waves just to kind of flow out a little bit. And then that's the type of shot that we're getting, which is not too shabby. Feels a little bit cut off from my perspective. I may shift my perspective just a little bit. I'm shooting on the 18-135. I do have the 10-24 in the bag, but maybe just a little bit too wide. The light's disappearing, so just play a little bit about here with the composition. Right, back to it, because that light is disappearing very fast. So I think that's pretty much it. The light went as quickly as it came. We had about 10 minutes of light, and sometimes that's all it takes. Now, as you'll see from the images, the actual castle itself and the headland wasn't particularly lit up. But I think even the sun disappears behind this headland this time of year. But even with that, if there's a strong enough sunset, I reckon that headland and the castle would actually light up. But I was quite happy with both the clouds, especially in the first couple of images, the clouds behind the castle, and of course there was a little bit of light in the sky, and that was reflecting on the water. So certainly not an absolute winner, but hey, still quite a nice image, given the fact that I really didn't think there was going to be anything. So now we wait. We wait and see whether the pesky clouds go away. As I say, I don't have any 3G or 4G coverage, so I can't even check to see whether the Aurora is going to be happening tonight. Well, I guess this will either be the end of my shooting for the evening, or we might get some Aurora action. So I'm going to head up to the Sherpa, Chris, who's climbed any mountain. Anyway, he's climbed up top and sitting waiting patiently for something to happen. As always, Kinbane Castle, pretty epic. What do you think? So I guess sometimes you do wonder what the heck you're doing. So I still am here down at Kinbane. Pitch black, perhaps even raining a little bit. and there's still heavy cloud cover. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But surprising how quickly the dark actually just sucks in. But we'll see. I mean, there are little gaps in the clouds. I'm not sure whether this GoPro is going to pick it up or not, but there's little tiny gaps in the cloud. And I guess one thing about the wind is the clouds are obviously moving quite quick, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, turn this light off to get my eyes used to the dark again. Catch up in a bit. Yeah, so still here, still in the dark. I've actually just shot a couple of exposures, 5-minute exposures at very low ISO, just to see, just in case something were to happen, and allow me to maybe blend something in, just to clean up the image a little bit. Obviously my base for the Aurora images will be a higher ISO, 1600 ISO probably, even maybe higher. F2, excuse me, I'm shooting on the Samyang 12mm, manual focus, but of course situations such as this, I'm focusing into infinity, or with the Samyang just slightly before infinity. So F2 and about 28 seconds or so. Well, of course, it all depends on whenever the sky is less cloudy. But I've shot my base sort of 5-minute exposure. I might do another one of those later on. Every so often you get a little sneak peek of stars, which I guess is potential, but we're talking about a microsecond, and then it goes away again. So apparently it's going to clear up in the next hour. I'll believe it when I see it. And of course, even if it does clear up, we then have to have Aurora action. The Aurora alerts are telling us that possibly visible with the camera, not with the naked eye here in Northern Ireland at the moment. So, but we're in it now, so we might as well stick by it. Right, catch up in a bit. Bye bye. So just a very quick update. Yeah, that was a pretty epic storm. Still sadly some cloud cover right on the horizon, but it was pretty damn good. So clouds moved back in again, so it's taking a bit of a breather. Actually just recording a foreground shot, 4 or 5 minutes, cleaner, lower ISO, and hopefully have an image to show for it. Also got quite breezy, so I'm going to go back to my camera and make sure it doesn't blow away. Right, laters. And this is how dark it is.